My name is Omowunmi Ola-Edagbami. I'm from the Yoruba tribe in Nigeria. I come from a place where we tell stories. When I was growing up, my parents would come back from work and tell us about how their day went, and we would tell them about how our day went. And so it was always about telling stories. And this translated into my writing. I love to read books. I read loads of books growing up. And so I had a vivid imagination as well, and I used to write a lot. And in school, fortunately or unfortunately, I went to the science background and I didn't explore that. As I did my master's in digital marketing, I found my love again for writing and for storytelling. When I came here and I saw the way Black immigrants were being projected, and I didn't like it, so I decided to do something about it by starting Black Scottish Stories and writing stories of Black immigrants living in Scotland. That was what led me to Migrant Women Press, and that was what led me to wanting to become a better writer, wanting to have a platform where I can speak my mind and improve my craft and give voices to the unheard people, the people who are not unseen. I use my writing to do all of that. So one day I was at home and my children were speaking, and they were speaking with Scottish accents, a mix of Nigerian and Scottish accents. It was a bittersweet feeling for me, sweet that they've been able to inculcate themselves in this culture. Bitter because it seems like if myself and my husband were not careful, the children might lose their culture or they might forget where they were from. It occurred to me that there are going to be many other people going through the same thing or a version of what I'm going through. And that was what made me choose that topic and try to find people who were actually going through that lived experience that I was going through. When I was writing this story, it was a bit challenging for me because almost every one of them didn't want to show their face or didn't want their names out there. I think it was born out of fear of maybe being reprimanded for actually owning their own story. And I found that quite sad because I felt that nobody should be ashamed of their story. I've never done anything journalism before. Migrant Women Press was like my first taste of journalism. And I get this kind of healthy dopamine. At the end of the day, when I finished writing, I was very happy. I saw that this would help me in my journey with Black Scottish Stories. I have a dream where Black Scottish Stories will be like the go-to archive when people are looking for Black people doing great things in Scotland. I felt that joining the fellowship would help me write their stories and project them in that kind of way to be seen as people who are actually contributing. I've started becoming more structured in the way that I write. If you look at where I started from and where I am now, you see that there's a slight shift in the way I tell the stories. I received an email about 2 months ago, and the email said that they are inviting me to come and contribute to a book. The lady is in a university in England. I joined Past the Mic. They had read my writing and my stories and my articles, and they felt I was going to be a good fit for the Past the Mic Fellowship. I think the first thing is for anybody who is joining the fellowship, the person should have a curious mindset. You have to come with an open mind. You might have learned some things, but by the time you come into the fellowship, you would have to relearn and relearn and relearn and refine the art that you thought you had. I just believe that when you trust that process, at the end of the day, you'll be very happy with the results that come out.